Greetings, Captain. We appreciate the opportunity to present the language directive for the Villarreal Alpha Interstellar Colony. As you prepare to lead more than 100,000 people during this long-term mission, clear and coherent communication will be essential. Our team has analyzed the linguistic composition of the colony, reviewed operational needs, and examined the multicultural context in which this community will grow. Research in intercultural communication consistently shows that when expectations and communicative norms differ across cultural groups, tensions emerge even in routine interactions. Establishing shared protocols early on prevents de-escalation of minor misunderstanding into broader relational or operational conflicts. Today, we will present a strategic plan that ensures safety, clarity, and unity. This directive focuses on communication protocols, bilingual education, documentation standards, technology support, and multicultural integration. Proactive measures such as these are recommended in conflict management frameworks, which emphasize anticipation over reaction for maintaining cohesion in diverse communities. We hope this video will serve as a practical guide as you navigate the challenges and opportunities of a multilingual colony.
The year is 2073, and Villarreal also represents a historic achievement for Colombia and for humanity. The colony includes different professional groups, commanding staff, engineering staff, support staff, and civilians. Each group brings unique linguistic backgrounds and levels of proficiency. Here is a quick overview. Commanding staff all speak Spanish as third language, and 100% are proficient in English. Engineering staff diverse first language background, 56% English, 33% Spanish, and a smaller percentage in Chinese, German, and Japanese. Support staff primarily Spanish speaking. Civilians, the largest and most common linguistically diverse group. As Vicar 2003 mentioned, the melting pot as the mixture of different cultures and languages in a homogenized culture. This diversity is a strength, but only if managed with clear rules. Studies on group dynamics indicate that multicultural environments can foster innovation but also generate tension. When groups perceive unequal status of limited representations without clear guidelines, communities tend to cluster into linguistic subgroups, reinforcing separation rather than unity. A colony this size cannot rely on improvisation. It requires a formal language directive that supports safety, organization, and social harmony.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Daniel, and today I will answer the question why were there so many languages in the colony? Well, the colony has over 100,000 people from many regions, creating significant linguistic diversity. This comes from three main important factors. First, professional specialization with engineers from technologically advanced countries. Second, cultural diversity among the large civilian population. Third, operational needs, with English as the shared professional language and Spanish as the cultural administrative base. That's so important for our project.
Okay, now we are going to talk about the potential problems that may arise on this expedition.
To address these challenges, we propose a clear language hierarchy. English primary operational language for engineering, science, safety protocols, system manuals, and mission critical communication. Spanish primary community language for daily life, administrative tasks, general announcements, social activities, and public facing documents. Support languages Chinese, French, German, Japanese. Used when a specific community needs assistance. universal symbols for emergencies and navigation. We recommend that formal documents be available in English and Spanish, with emergency materials also in Chinese and French. Research in sociolinguistics shows that language hierarchy can create tension when seen as culture dominate. So this proposal reduces that risk by assigning languages based on function rather than ideological promotion. Um, Fairness and transparency. For internal communication in the colony, here's the idea we recommend. First, signed all signs should be in English and Spanish, so everyone can understand them easily. And when it's come to an emergency, the sign should also use clear, universal symbols, the kind anyone can recognize instantly. Then, documents. Technical and scientific staff stays in English, since they keep everything standardized. Public information, though, should be in both English and Spanish, so the whole community has access. And medical record stayed in English, but with support in other languages, if someone needed. For emergency communication, the safe approach is using both audio and visual alerts at the same time. The audio in English and Spanish and the visual signals right away. And for people who need extra help, quick emergency card in Chinese and French can make all the difference. The whole point of this is to keep everyone safe. In an emergency, people process languages more slowly. So having bilingual alerts, universal symbols, and clear, consistent documents really help prevent confusion and keeps things stable.
So let's talk about the first potential problem, and it is operational risks. Because the engineering department works with complex and sensitive systems. Every misunderstanding in technical terminology could lead to equipment malfunction or accidents. And conflict analysis literature knows that the technical environments are especially vulnerable to misinterpretation because terminology carries operational consequences when linguistic frames differ, interpretation diverge, even when individuals intend clarity. Our second potential problem is the emergency confusion. In a crisis, instructions must be fast and ambiguous, with multiple L1s and clear communication could slow evacuation or medical response. Moments of crisis magnify existing tensions and reduce cognitive processing time, making precise language critical to preventing contradictory actions. The final potential problem that could happen in the expedition is, of course, the social fragmentation, because with more than 8 L1 languages among civilians, the colony might divide into isolated linguistic groups unless guided toward integration. For these reasons, a clear, equitable, and safe language structure is mandatory. Fragmented documentation and regulated linguistic practices create structural tensions, weakening trust and coordination between teams. Okay, now it is important to talk about the translation and technological services. To support a multilingual colony, technology will play a crucial role. Real time AI translator devices include wrist communicators, automatic captioning for announcements and public transmissions, multilingual chatbots for medical, legal, and administrative questions, certified human translators for legal, diplomatic, and higher risk operational communication, a terminology database to standardize engineering and medical vocabulary. These tools will prevent errors and help residents communicate with confidence. So, the study of intercultural conflict emphasizes that mediation humans or technological reduces tension by ensuring shared meaning. However, translation is only effective when supported by standard terminology across sectors. Without this, group develop parallel vocabularies that lead to technical and relational friction. Proper training in these tools is essential to avoid over reliance and miscommunication.
Educational research highlight that bilingual and multicultural programs reduce intergroup tension by promoting empathy, identity validation, and intercultural competition. Shared cultural activities, language prevention, initiative prevent isolation, one of the main precursors of social conflict. A balanced approach strengthens both operational and offensive and community cohesion.
Now, I will explain you about recruitment and language requirements. Transparent linguistic requirements help prevent institutional tension by ensuring that expectations are predictable and fair. Also, the conflict management frameworks emphasize that when individuals understand the criteria behind selection processes, also, trust increases and perceived inequality decreases. This, providing training for those below required levels, reduces exclusion and fosters long term integration.
Gradual implementation aligns with conflict reduction strategies which shows that community experience less resistance when change are introduced sequentially. Participatory models where the community is informed and involved during each phase significantly reduce tension and build ownership. Consistency across phases prevent confusion and reinforce institutional trust.
Now we are going to talk about the indicators of success. So first of all, as Perillo 1986 explained the importance to apply the pluralist ideology, and it allows diverse languages to live in harmony, where individuals can feel tolerance and consideration between them. For this reason, some indicators are mentoring linguistic clarity, social cohesion, and community satisfaction aligned with the best practices in tension prevention systems. Early detection of communication breakdowns, disengagement, or misunderstanding enables intervention before conflicts escalate. Integrating cultural indicators with operational ones provides a holistic view of a colony well-being. Besides, it is so important to take into account our globalized economy because, as Heller 2011 says, effective communication is crucial for market success. On the other hand, language, culture, and identity play a key role to increase those markets and add value, but it is required during the globalization process. Finch 2017 mentions to use a different linguistic code, and here is an example for hybridity. Please organize groups by four people. However, in each group needs to include people for different places or communities. Ahora van a encontrar la actividad a desarrollar en sus dispositivos tecnológicos. Pueden hablar en los idiomas que ustedes crean pertinentes y darán las conclusiones en diferentes idiomas. In conclusione, è importante sottolineare la crescita linguistica della diverse lingue.
Conflict literature concludes that sustainable multicultural communities require structures that acknowledge differences while establishing shared norms. A well-designed language directive functions not only as an operational tool, but also as a mechanism for peacekeeping, reducing tension, and strengthening collective identity.